Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt, you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never, ever alone. You know, here at Invisible Condition, we get it, okay? We know that life can be tough sometimes, but we also know that there is always hope. I want to talk about a couple things that we're doing outside of here, just in case you want to see what else we're up to. We actually run a nonprofit organization called Hydro with Hope that is designed to empower people with a condition called hydrocephalus, which is what I was born with and has caused 15 surgeries and 7 brain surgeries, and it's been a wild ride. And so Hydro with Hope is to help those folks. And it's been an amazing ride with that nonprofit. We also would love to talk with anybody that would like to get the word out about what their company does or what their organization does. If you feel a connection to this show or to me or to anything that we talk about, I'd love to talk to you. It would be an honor for me to get the word out about what you do on our show. So, let's talk. Invisible Condition at E360TV is an email you can shoot me a message on, and I'd love to have that conversation. Also, wherever you are watching from, if you're watching on, that's the one. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, please chime in throughout the episode. If there's anything that you go, hey, light bulb, hey, I want to talk to this guy that you have on the show. Leave a comment. That's the cool thing about simulcasting this to not only TV, but social media. You have the opportunity to participate. So please comment on Facebook, YouTube, and we can get back to you. We'll let you know. So, all right. Now, first things first. Happy 2 years, everybody. This show signifies 2 years on the air. We launched this show on April 4th, 2023, and we're back April 4th, 2025. Thank you. Thank you for the last 2 years. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching. For those of you that have been with us since the beginning, thank you. For those of you who are just now tuning in, thank you. Bring your friends. We love our viewers, and we're so thankful that you're here, and you're the reason we're here, in large part. So thank you for being here. Now, today we have Jordan Modiano. Jordan he's a devoted father to a daughter on the autism spectrum. And yes, it's a spectrum. Everybody knows it's a spectrum, right? The autism spectrum. So he gets it, man. He understands firsthand the challenges and triumphs and craziness sometimes of raising a neurodiverse child. Jordan is also an entrepreneur, a race car driver, motivational speaker who helps businesses build strong teams and, inspires others to embrace change and overcome obstacles. I mean, come on, you don't deal in the autism realm without a few obstacles. As the founder of Racers for Autism, he combines his passion for racing with his commitment to supporting neurodiverse individuals and their families, like his own family, right? Through stories from business, racing, and fatherhood, Jordan is passionate about delivering a powerful message of resilience, adaptability, and, making a difference. Can't wait for you to meet him. Let's bring him on and see what we're talking about today. Jordan, thank you so much for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, Jeff, thank you. And second year, man. Honor. I'm so honored to be on your show. 2nd year anniversary. Congratulations.
This is awesome. Bring it on, man. I couldn't think of a better guest. Let's do it, man. Let's talk about it. So, I got a question that I like to ask everybody right off the bat. When we, have people on the show, I'm always excited to hear the answer. I've never heard a wrong answer in 2 years. So
wait, I'm going to give you the wrong answer.
No, you're not. Bring it on. In the midst of everything that you've gone through with your daughter, the diagnosis and all the tough days and all the craziness and, some of the stuff, they can't all be good days. On those rough days, how do you still maintain hope?
That is an amazing question. So, a couple of things. We started something a few years ago, and it's taken some time to teach her and me. And her name's Rachel. Instead of me saying her, we're gonna call her Rachel.
Yep.
But there are no bad days. We have some bad minutes, but we figured out how to take those bad minutes and like, well, how are we gonna let it ruin a day? You got 60 minutes in an hour. You've got 24 hours in a day. We have a couple of bad minutes. We're not letting it destroy the whole day. So we've worked on that. We've had major meltdowns. We've had catastrophes. We've had other things. And it's like, okay, let's compartmentalize that. We're going to make it some bad minutes. We're not going to let it ruin the whole day, because then it could, you go to sleep upset, you wake up upset, you ruin the whole week. Now, we stopped doing that a while ago.
I love that. That has got to be one of the best answers. See, you thought you were going to say the wrong thing. That's got to be one of the best answers I've gotten, man. That's great.
I'll tell you,
that's awesome.
I do the leadership stuff, and I do the motivational stuff and the racing stuff, and I pull it all together. And I don't know where I was. I think I was at a HR conference or someplace like that.
Yeah.
And they were talking about it, and they were talking about leaders and what leaders do and how leaders, sometimes something happens and it impacts them, and they say the wrong stuff, and it spirals and it ruins the day, and it ruins the day for everybody. And just, hey, let's make it bad minutes. I was like, ding, need that for my daughter. Let's go.
Hey, I love that. I'm totally gonna use that. That's fantastic.
Amen.
Because it's true. You don't have to. You can collect yourself and move on in 60 seconds. And you don't have to let it ruin your whole day. I love that. That's perfect.
And
well, let's dive in, man. You are obviously, I'm excited for everybody to hear your story of resilience, like parenting in this situation, and your daughter with autism. But first, when you're, what was the first clues that your daughter was might be on the autism spectrum?
So I'm lucky. I've got a superstar wife. So my wife's a school psychologist. She's got a PhD. She when it comes
Nice.
to brains, I'm down low. She's way up high. She has an understanding. I had no, like, we're first time parents, and I'm a guy. Yeah, it's like, whatever, it's my kid playing on the floor. It's all good, right? It's like, something's up. We've got to go get her tested. And she knew. She picked up on that stuff, and she knew. And she and I are both very different.
Yeah.
I'm very much, I keep the expectations high. To this day, my daughter will do more for me than she will for anybody else in the world. And it's not because she's performing for me or anything like that. It's just the expectation is there, and we're going to do more together, and it works. But
awesome.
I think, as we found out, and it's a spectrum, I didn't know what that meant, and I was never one like, oh man, it's the end of the world, this is bad. It's like, no, there's some good stuff in there. I don't know what that is yet.
Yeah.
And, I always went with an open mind. We're going to do whatever we've got to do. But I saw so many amazing things. And I've said this to everybody. I say it up on stage. I'll say it to anybody. I'm a better human being because my daughter came into my life.
Yes.
I don't have a doubt in my mind about that. That's absolutely the case. And
yeah. Totally. I mean, anybody with kids they better agree. And first and foremost, I want to tell you that, yes, I heard this from somebody years and years ago. And he said, we all married up. Okay. And if you don't realize it, you don't deserve her.
Well,
so I fully subscribe to that. So
we definitely married up, and my wife did too. I tell her that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we'd be a mess without them. I mean, come on, let's be real. So what are some of the biggest, obviously autism? I mean, you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but let's get specific. I mean, there's obviously challenge when there's autism in the house, what are some of those challenges that you like when you first got the diagnosis? You're like, okay, now we gotta like revamp everything. Now what do we do? What was the most challenging there?
How to respond and how to react and what to do.
Mm,
So when it came to, hey, we've got to go get this testing, we've got to go do this, we've got to go do that, to a degree I shut up. My wife could have conversations with the doctors and everybody else at a level that, hey, can you now explain this to me in layman's terms, because I'm not there, you
yeah,
know. And why not utilize your strengths? So I kind of did a lot of going along for the ride until it got to, decision making time. It's like, okay, are we going to do meds? Are we going to do this? I wanted to be involved in that.
yeah,
But when you want to know like some of the challenges, the challenges are when you experience something brand new, and you don't know what to do, you don't know what to happen. And
yeah.
I share this story, and I share it when I do a lot of my speaking. It's about the day that I met my hero, and
Nice.
I label it the day I met my hero. It was one of those incredibly hot summer days, a mid-August day. It was a Sunday, and there was a park nearby, a community park nearby, and they were having a family fun day. And this has to be, Rachel was maybe 3, maybe 4, I think 3. But she knew about it. She was excited. She wanted to go. At that time, I had a black Chevy Avalanche, and she would sit in the little booster seat in the back seat. And I remember we went up there on a Sunday morning, and like the day when the sun is high in the sky, it's 100 degrees out, 100% humidity.
Oof.
It's summer solstice. And it's like, but we're going, and we're going to have some fun. So we park the truck in the parking lot. We're walking through the parking lot, and she's holding my hand, and I'm holding her hand, and she's walking in front of me and kind of pulling me along. And as we get a little bit closer to where this family fun activity is, she can hear the hum of the bounce houses.
Oh,
And
like the
she
air, the
starts,
thing that's pumping the air in. Yeah,
yep, just, ooh, it's
yeah,
got the big blower motors, and they had 2 big
yeah,
bounce houses. And they had a cop sitting in the dunk tank. So, and, kids throwing the ball to hit the little pin on the dunk tank, and you could hear ting,
yep.
ting. And in the far corner, they had a band playing.
Mm,
They had a barbecue going, like 10:30 or 11 in the morning. They were barbecuing. It smelled great, but the smells are out in the air.
yep.
And you can hear all this. We're not even in it yet, but you can hear it. And suddenly, she's not pulling me. I'm kind of like pulling her. Come on along, Rachel. And then she lets go of my hands and covers her ears.
Yep.
But we're still walking. And we get to a point, it's an opening. We've got a bounce house to the left of us. There's one catty corner to that. Far in the corner, we can see that there's pony rides. And, 20 feet in front of us is the cop in the dunk tank. Just behind them, they've got a little booth, and they've got the guy making, the balloon animals, and then do face painting and all this stuff for little kids, and the barbecue. And she just freezes.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Oh no.
frozen. Hands tight against her ears, looking around. And Jeff, we're in the sun. All right. 10 feet that way, there's shade. Just a ton of shade. There's a row of trees. So I bend down. I'm like, hey, Rachel, let's go get in the shade.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Rachel, let's go get in the shade. So I'm a dad. Here's my little girl. I'm going to bake. I'm going to pick her up and go in the shade.
Scoop her up. Yeah.
Lesson number 1. Don't move a kid who's in spectrum doing this. She freaked out.
Yeah.
Screaming, kicking, flailing. Everybody in the place turned and looked at me. The cops were ready to draw their guns. I put her right back down. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay.
He's kidnapping
Right?
somebody. Yeah.
And immediately, as soon as I put it back down,
Yep.
and I just motioned to everybody, it's okay. We
Wow.
go about an hour standing there like that. I'm moving my body around, trying to block the sun from her, and can't do it. The sun's
No.
straight up in the air, like
Yeah.
hovering over her, like you just can't do it. We're both drenched in sweat. But here's the amazing part, Jeff. She goes, Daddy, I'm ready to play now. After an hour.
Wow.
I was like, all right. So she leaves me. She goes over to the first bounce house, takes her shoes off, jumps in the bounce house, covers her ears, jumps up and down, maybe 45 seconds. Comes out of that, grabs her shoes, runs in her socks over to the other bounce house, puts her shoes down, jumps in, covers her ears, up and down another 45 seconds. Comes out of there, puts her shoes on. And I said, what do you want to do next? I don't know. So we walk over. Do you want to get a balloon? No. Do you want to get your face painted? No. To this day, she's 15. She still likes doing her face painting. You know, we go in the back. You want to do a pony ride? She had been on ponies before. No. All right. How about some ice cream? It's really hot. No. Okay. You want to try and dunk the cop in the dunk tank and see him get soaking wet? No. Okay. Wow. How about a picture with the mascot? They had a mascot from somebody running around there. It's like, okay. So you get a picture of a mascot and they're like, so what do you want to do? We can go now. 7 minutes. 7 minutes from Daddy, I can play now to we can go now. I'm like, okay. So I had a remote starter for my truck and it was hot out. So I remote started to get the air conditioning going. By the time we get to the truck, I open up the back door, put her in, buckle her in, walk around the front. And as I get to the front and I get in, I'm seeing this. She's sound asleep by the time we're out of the parking lot.
Yep. Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself, what did she put herself through?
Right.
What did she have to do? What kind of holy hell did she go through?
Yeah.
To put everything, the noise, the sound, the smell, the vision, all of it in its place and make it all okay. Because the one thing I did know with autism is everything comes in unfiltered. It's all at the same level. If everything is at one octave, it's all at the same octave. And if one light is bright, it's all just as bright. So all of that, and she had to figure it out. And it exhausted her.
Yeah.
And when I tried to move, I took the focus away and I changed where things were going, is what I'm guessing. I learned a lot. And the next thing I learned is I'm a wimp. Because I think I'm a tough guy. I think I can do impressive things. No way. At 3 years old, she made everybody I know look weak, including me. And I think I'm pretty tough. I do a lot of stuff. I push myself and like, wow. What is she capable of? And it was just, and then like, I need to be better.
Yeah.
You know, like I need to really look at her and I need to learn from her because it might not be lessons that she's going to get up and use a chalkboard and teach me stuff.
Sure.
But she taught me a major lesson that day. She taught me about her and she taught me if at 3 years old, if she can do that, what can we all do?
Right.
What?
It's true.
I probably haven't even come anywhere close at that point in time to my capabilities. And I've pushed myself way harder since then because she's inspired me to do that through that thing and so many others. But
man,
I still don't think I come close.
It's true. That really struck a nerve with me because I've experienced something similar to that, but it was only temporary. And I want to talk about that on the other side of our break here. We're going to go to a break, and that story bookends this segment so perfectly. And I want to go to a break, but on the other side, I want to tell you a little bit about that experience because it so hits home what you just said.
I'd love to hear it.
So we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Right now, I want to get the word out about our amazing sponsor, and that's coming right now. We'll see you guys on the other side. See you soon. I'd love to talk to you a little bit about our sponsor Dunamis marriages. And now struggling marriages often lead to a dramatic sense of disconnection from your spouse that can seem suffocating. Even if your marriage is doing pretty well, there is a way for you to thrive no matter what. Dunamis Marriages believes that God designed marriage to be a lifelong, heart-connected journey. And they're here to help you get there at Dunamis Marriages. Located in Colorado Springs, Colorado, their faith-based marriage intensive has an 83% success rate. I'm going to say that again, 83% success rate. Guiding couples through deep emotional healing and lasting transformation. Why is that important? Because most marriage counseling has a less than 10% success rate, leaving broken hearts and marriages in its wake. Led by Dr. Pauline Dillard, who brings over 42 years of marital wisdom, these marriage intensives are different. Typical marriage counseling is more of a once a week for an hour type of thing that can last for years and really end up getting you nowhere. The intensive model that Dr. Pauline uses brings couples together. Each session lasts about 2 to 3 hours and is conducted over 5 to 6 sessions. The time that you invest in a marriage intensive will combine biblical truth with proven psychological principles to restore communication, trust, and intimacy. At Dunamis Marriages, they don't just treat symptoms, they equip you with the tools to build a thriving, Christ-centered marriage. If you're ready to break free from frustration and rekindle your relationship God's way, act now. Visit DunamisMarriages.com today. That's DUNAMAS marriages.com. And take that first step toward a stronger, more fulfilling marriage. Build your marriage on a solid foundation and enjoy your spouse like you never thought possible.
Hey everybody, Craig Tominini here, founder and CEO of Ask Craig T, and I wanted to do a quick reminder about our podcast every Friday, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and on all of our social media platforms, so be sure you tune in. Don't miss all the valuable information we're going to give you about how to scale your business using technology.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Jordan, thank you for being here, man. This has been awesome so far. I'm excited to dive more into the story. I did have one thing that I wanted to tell you that at the beginning of at the end of that last segment, you told the story about being at the fairgrounds and being just the way overstimulation, and that's just a way of life for your daughter. That's just how it's been forever. And I wanted to just throw this out there just to I don't know. It made sense to me to say this to you. I had my most recent brain surgery was in October of 2021. And following that surgery, my filter was gone. I had no filter. That is similar to there was no filter. So going to church, going to the grocery store, going to a baseball game, going to a family gathering, it was almost impossible because everything was coming in at full volume. There was no blocking it out so you can concentrate on this conversation. It was all coming in at once. And that was going on for about 2 years. And
Wow.
your daughter's a rock star. I'm telling you, that was so hard. I ended up leaving a career of 12 years because I couldn't do it anymore because of that sensory overload stuff. I thankfully was able to find, and maybe we can talk about this after we're done recording here, but I found something that helped me tremendously. So maybe it's something we could talk about later. Maybe it would be helpful to your daughter as well. But that is, my filter's back now. It's back in full force, 95% of the time, because of the treatment that I found. And it was in another state, and it was totally out of nowhere, but it was so helpful. So I'd love to talk to you about that maybe later. But my point is, I can relate. I on a small scale, I can't imagine living my whole life like that. It's unbelievable.
But you know what? Here's
crazy.
what I think. I think it was probably harder for you than it is for her, because you didn't live your whole life like that. You knew what it was like not that way. If you never knew anything else, and from day one, that's it. You know, it's like somebody who goes blind versus somebody who is born blind.
There you go. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, it's true. That's a good point.
But I don't know. You guys have experienced it. I haven't. So I'm just guessing this stuff. Like,
yeah, there's
no way we're gonna know.
Woo, it's kudos to her, man. It is not an easy thing. God bless my family, man. My wife is a saint, man. She was very understanding during that whole time. And I mean, this whole time, I mean, my wife have known each other since we've known each other. So we met in 7th grade band class. So she's known me a while. And so she's put up with a lot. So going through this was just kind of another notch in the belt,
Sure.
So, but I just wanted to throw that out there and just, kudos to your daughter, man. So
thank you.
And kudos to you, because you took a very proactive approach, right? Like when you were like, okay, let's tackle this diagnosis. Let's do this. You're figuring it out. You weren't messing around. You just went for it.
What else is there? Like,
well,
I don't know. That's who I am. Tomorrow's coming one way or another. So let's make the best of today so that tomorrow can be a little bit better. And I'm the guy who's like, you know what? I'd rather do something, even if it's the wrong thing, and learn, and then we go do the right thing, than do nothing. There's enough people around who are so afraid of doing the wrong thing, and they don't do anything. You win or I never fail. I don't look at it as failing. You try something. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, you learn something, you go do something else.
Yeah.
And I think we've done a lot with that with my daughter. I mean, we've had her horseback riding, we've had her skiing, we've had her ice skating, we've tried music lessons, we've tried the piano, the clarinet, the this, the that, the other stuff. Is there anything that's going to stick? Is there anything that she's going to love? We have found one or two little things.
Yeah.
We don't stop trying. You can't.
No. No.
It's just...
No, stopping is not enough. You're either growing or you're dying, man. You got to go. You got to move forward,
man.
So
Amen.
You got to move forward. I'm with you there. Speaking of moving forward, I would be remiss if we did not talk about, by the way, everybody, before I bring up the point that I just interrupted myself with, scan this QR code here. It's been up on the screen and we haven't even talked about it. What is it, that website? What are people going to find when they scan that QR code?
So that's one of a couple of my websites, but what they'll find at that website is me, the stuff I speak about with leadership, how to book me if you want to come and hear my stories, hear me engage with an audience, hear me engage and talk to a team about leadership, about sales, about, making an impact. That seems to be something that I've been requested a lot lately. You get a lot of people who, hit that 40, 50, 55-year-old range, and they're like, I've been working my whole life. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. And I haven't made an impact. And they have. They just don't know it. They don't know how to look at it and see that difference. and they don't know those little tidbits on what to do. You'll see some videos, you'll see some testimonials, and
Nice.
just, you'll get to learn a little bit more about me. And you Google my name, you find all kinds of stuff about me. Some good, some bad, some fun, some crazy, whatever.
Yeah. It's all part of it, man. It's all right. There's always haters. There's always lovers. There's always, it's all part of the game. It's all good.
That's it.
So
100%.
yeah, exactly. Well, all right. So with what I was going to bring up before I remembered there was a QR code there for everybody. Scan it, everybody, so you can check it out. Racers for Autism. Tell me about that. That's your project, man. That's your passion project. That's
my other one.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
2 hands and 10 things. So
you didn't have enough to do, right? So
no. So Racers for Autism is kind of a culmination of events that led me to be like, all right, hey, maybe my calling is got this in it also, because this is not enough.
Why not?
So back in, I don't know, 2020 or so, I think it was 2020. Yeah. Racing cars. And we decided I'd always done a huge 9/11 theme. And for some reason that year, I was like, you know what, we're going to incorporate autism too. And we kept 9/11 because that was a big deal for me. And we kept, the salute to 9/11 and everybody, but we went autism, and it became more of the autism awareness car. Mm-hmm. And my daughter really liked it. And it was like, all right, I can't not do that. And picked up some fans that I didn't know I would pick up just because it was the autism awareness car. And then the next year picked up more. And I suddenly had people coming to me and saying things like, hey, thank you so much for doing this. I think I've got a child, a nephew, a grandchild on the spectrum. I think I was on the spectrum. I think, what do I do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, guys, it's not that hard. I had a wife who's a school psychologist with a PhD. She did it all. Like, well, it is that hard, because even my wife, she spent hours figuring out, where do I go for help? What do I do, et cetera. And I was somewhat inoculated to that because I have my wife.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, and it's really hard. So I think it was in 2022, I talked to the racetrack that I do most of my racing at, and I said, hey, I'd like to put a race on for my class, because there's a lot of different divisions, and I want to do it as an autism awareness race. Mm-hmm. and make it a big paying out race, and try and get some press, and try and tie in a couple of charities and raise some money. And we did it, and it worked out nice. And I think that year we raised about $13,000 for 2 different charities. We just gave the money away, and it was a one-night event. And part of what made it so big was the guy who won the race, and I think it was $6,000 or $7,000 to win. He said, I'm donating it all right to the charity.
Oh, sweet.
And
That's
like,
perfect.
Jordan's busting his butt. We're doing this.
Yeah.
So the next year I went and I got a big sponsor. I got the Upstate Chevy dealers as a sponsor, a group of dealerships that cover our area. We had them as a sponsor, and I had a bunch of other sponsors too, but nobody at that level. And we were able to say, okay, now we're going to do this at a bigger level. We're going to make this a $10,000 to win race, total of like $30,000 in payouts, do some other stuff. So for the class that I race, it became one of the biggest races in the country.
Wow.
For our division. And it that happening put me on a bigger stage. Suddenly I'm on some local TV shows talking about the race and autism. I'm on the radio stations talking about it. We're raising some more money. We're getting some more notoriety, and it works well. And it just about killed me, because I was, running my business, doing the racing. Oh, and by the way, promoting this whole race, which was a full-time job also.
Right.
And I was like, that's it. I'm never doing this again. I'm done. Can't do it. Well, Upstate Chevy dealers came back to me, and they loved it. They thought it was great. The charities that we donated for loved it. They thought it was great. All the sponsors loved it. And everybody said, I want you to do it again. I'm like, all right, well, I'm upping the fee, and we're going to start a not-for-profit and build a website and do some other stuff, because I need to get some other help. I can't do this all myself. So if we start a not-for-profit, we build a website, that's going to help. That's going to alleviate a million questions coming to me because I've got a place for it all. We can do online registrations. We can do online donations. And it has just kind of grown from there.
Awesome.
And, you know, what I say is, you know, like, yeah, I'm the face, but Rachel, she's the driving force.
Yeah.
Like, she's the reason for all of it and everything that I'm doing with it. And what we're seeing it is so amazing. One of the local locations, you know, they post up on Facebook all the time the different things that they've been able to do and improve and offer in their sensory room or
Nice.
for the
Yeah.
neurodiverse. And like, we've got this because of what Races for Autism did. And we've got this because of what Races for Autism did. And we work with the Autism Society, the Greater Hudson region. And, you know, I'm on the plane 2 weeks ago and I met some guy and he was talking to me and, you know, we talked a little bit about what we do. And he's like, I think my 2-year-old's on it. I don't know what I do. Where do I go? Boom, email, introduction. Here you go. And it's just
Wow.
like, that's what I have to do,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
I don't even feel like it's me doing it. I'm just living my daughter's best life, you know, doing what, you know, like she came into this world so we can help so many people.
Oh, I love that. It's true, man. There is a reason for everything, man. God does not make mistakes. She's here for a reason, and you're tapping right into that, and it's awesome, man.
You know, I have to.
You know, I heard somebody say one time, you know, well, first thing is, if you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans. You know, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to, you know, he's probably rolling right now. Like, oh, that's cute. Yeah. You think it's up to you? And the other thing I remember from years ago, he said, always and never are two things you should always remember never to say. So, you know,
Right.
there you go.
Yeah. I mean, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, would I be doing anything like any of this? I would have looked at it like, what do you got 3 heads? There's no way.
I know. Just, yeah. Hey, that's why we can't handle the whole picture at once, man. That's why we're one day at a time. There's
And
no
you know,
way.
you're so right, though. It's one day at a time. And you can't see it, but on the wall over here, and I've had this for years, a guy who used to work for me made it for me, and it was my life's mission. And it says, on a mission to change the world for one person at a time.
Nice.
And I've shared that with people at different times, and I'm like, today it's your time.
Yeah.
You know? But we were talking before, you know, your opening question. You remember your opening question?
Yeah. How do you find hope?
Well, no, it was about the bad days.
Oh, on the bad days. Yeah.
Right.
How do you, yeah.
I'll share another story, if you could, with that, about one of those moments. So it was, I don't know, last summer. So my daughter's now 14, taking her to a Saturday dance class.
Okay.
And things are going great. I'm going to back up a little bit. So we've been talking about homework at home, and she doesn't like to do it. It takes too long. I'm not spending 15
Nobody
minutes
likes doing
doing
homework.
this.
Yeah.
You know, and we've been talking about, okay, so it's not going to be 15 minutes. Is 5 minutes too long? I could do 5 minutes. All right, let's do 5 minutes. And when we're done with those, we'll talk about maybe another 5.
Sure.
And then we're done with those, we'll talk about another 5. And before you know it, we did 3 little things of 5 minutes. You got your 15 minutes done. We're done. We go have some fun. So we've been doing stuff like that. So this particular Saturday morning, my wife was off to doing something and said, can you take Rachel to dance? And I'm not usually the one who does that. I think this was the first time I've ever been to this studio.
Yeah.
And we get there 10 minutes early.
Sure.
No big deal. We get there and I've got a Dunkin' Donuts, coffee, and something to eat, and she's got an apple juice, and she's like, okay, Daddy, here's what we're going to do. We will sit in the car and eat and drink our food for 5 minutes, and then we'll go inside and we'll wait 5 minutes. Then it's time for dance. Perfect, Rachel. I think you have a good plan. So that's what we do. We wait 5 minutes. We finish our stuff. We go inside. Now, when we get inside, there's a room, maybe 14 by 14 hardwood floor, just a bunch of like metal chairs around the edge and a bunch of parents sitting there because the previous class is in.
Yep.
And the previous class is going to be kids, I'm going to say 3 to 5 years old, 4 to 6 years old. They're young.
Yeah.
There, and inside the studio, there's a big glass wall, one door, and padded floor inside the studio, so the parents could all watch and look inside or hang out outside.
Mm-hmm.
And outside's all the shoes and everything else. And when Rachel and I walk in, she's carrying a glass pickle jar because the dance instructor had made homemade pickles and gave them to my wife and Rachel last week, and she's bringing the jar back because she wants more pickles. Perfectly okay.
Nice.
Everything's going great. Beautiful sunny day. The door to the dance studio on the outside is open. Kids are running in and out, barefoot, no shoes. And the dance teacher, we're just going to call her Miss B, cracks the door open, peeks her head out and says, "Hey, moms and dads, I know we started a few minutes late, so I'm going to keep the kids an extra 5. And then she sees Rachel and she's like, "Hey, Rach, I won't chip you out of your time. I'm going to keep you an extra 5 also." And unbeknownst to me or anybody else, that was a major trigger meltdown.
Oh.
And with kids running around and parents and everybody else, we get, "No!" Throws the glass down on the glass jar down, hits the floor, glass shards every place.
Mm.
And everybody turns and looks at me.
Of course.
And all I wanted to do was pick her up and run.
Right. Yeah.
I wanted to pick her up, run, go get my car, take off, never come back. That was it. That was it.
Yep. Sounds
What
about
did
right.
I do? I hit the floor and started picking up glass. Rachel standing behind me, hysterical, crying. And she makes her way past me, stands outside by the door that's open, and she's still crying. She's like, "Daddy, we need to go now. We need to go. We need to go."
Mm.
So I get up and I walk outside to her and I go, "I can't leave. I know you're having a tough time. Here's the keys to the car. You can go sit in the car. I'll come out as soon as I'm done cleaning up. I can't go without you." "Okay, then you can sit here and you have to wait." And she's hysterical crying. And she's no longer crying and upset because it's going to be a 5-minute delay. She's crying and upset because she realized she lost it and there's broken glass every place.
Yeah.
And she endangered kids. And she knows that. And I'm back cleaning on the floor, and every parent in this place is helping. You know,
Right.
They put all the kids back in the other room. They block the door. Parents are moving chairs. They're picking stuff up. I'm on my knees picking stuff up. Somebody finds a broom. Somebody else finds something else. Rachel ends up making it back inside and sitting down. And she's, you know, you can tell the tears are still coming down her face. And she's, you know, and she's shaking and she's visually just horrified.
Yeah.
But she's there and she's slowly calming. And we get everything cleaned. I'm pretty sure that floor was cleaner than it's ever been since the day they laid it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I bet.
I mean, there was a point
I
where
know.
like I'm walking around on my hands and knees, like finding a glass sliver and just sticking my finger to it and picking it up. Not that it's going to do anything to anybody if I won't punch in my finger, but you just you feel like you've got to deliver.
Yeah.
And here's the 4 or 5 amazing things. So as the other class is done and ending, and Rachel and I sitting there, and she's calmed down and the tears are over, a woman, invisible condition, comes over and says, "Hey," she grabs my hand and Rachel's hand and says, "I have autism too.
Mm.
It's okay." She leaves, some other people are leaving. A guy comes up to me and shakes my hand, and his kid's there. He goes, "I just want to tell you, you're an incredible dad."
Nice.
And I'm like, I'm heartbroken. Like, I'm still shattered from it.
Sure.
And still sad that it happened, sad what my daughter went through, sad that I didn't know it was coming and I couldn't control it. Like, sad for all of that.
Yeah.
And then everybody clears out, and my daughter loves Michael Jackson. She can tell you anything and everything about Michael Jackson. So Miss B doesn't even come out. She stays in the room. So it's only like 4 or 5 special needs kids in this dance class. but you start hearing Michael Jackson music.
Nice.
And Rachel starts getting excited and she's like, Daddy, she's playing Michael Jackson. I go, I know, time to go dance. You can
That's
do
right.
this. So she goes, she dances, she has a good dance class. She holds it all together. We leave, we get in the car. And she looks at me and she goes, I know I had some bad minutes, but we're not going to have a bad day. We're going to make it a good day. And wow. And inside me, I'm still hurting. I'm still sad. I'm still whatever. We had a great day. It was awesome. But I still felt that sadness.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sad because of what she did. I wasn't sad because of what was happened. All of that stuff, I was proud. I
Yeah.
was sad because I couldn't help her more and faster in what she went through. And nobody wants to see your kid go through that. And that's where the sadness came from. So I'm walking the dog that evening and I make a LinkedIn video about it. And I just talk about it for a couple of minutes on the video and I put it up on LinkedIn, and more about our ability to not make bad minutes turn into a bad day, to compartmentalize those bad minutes and make it a great day.
Yeah.
And the next morning I wake up and there's a comment on my LinkedIn, and it's from a woman who says, Hey, Jordan, I was a parent in the class just before you. And I will tell you, those other parents who complimented you were 100% right. You were magnificent. And it was evident that we can tell Rachel felt calm and safe amidst all of that. So kudos to you. And there's my piece of impact. Like, you don't know who's watching or what's happening. And my instinct was to run.
Yeah. Well, sure. That's anybody's instinct. Get me out of here.
But
Yeah.
a lot of people will act on it.
Yes.
A lot of people run from the hard stuff. A lot of people don't face it. And that would have been easy. But
Yeah.
that would have been the wrong message. Most importantly, to Rachel.
Yes.
Can't teach her to do that. We got to face it, and face your fears, face your demons, face the bad times. And that was all of it.
That was
just
all of it at once, man. Yeah.
all of it at once.
Oh.
And come out on the other side smelling like roses. Because
Yeah.
and then have the story to tell and be proud about it. It's amazing. And again, you want to talk about that invisible condition? There's not a person in that room who would have suspected anything when Rachel and I walked in there.
No. Nope.
Nobody knew a thing
Mm-mm.
until the bomb went off.
Right.
And it was,
Yep. Well, and what's impactful to me is that you didn't even, like, you hesitated. You almost left. You're like, get me out of here.
the thought was
But
there, but I was already on my knees picking up
Right.
glass.
Yeah. Yeah. Which speaks to the thing I was going to say, which is what you do here, you do everywhere. So what you do, you decide once. It's like people being married, it's like when, like, my wife and I, we met when we were 12 years old in 7th grade band class. We've known each other forever. We got married. We just celebrated our 25th anniversary last June. Like, you make one decision. We are staying married. And whatever comes up, you're always in that lens of, we're not leaving, kind of thing. And apply that to you. It's, look, this is how life is with Rachel. This is how it is. And this is how we behave. And this is how we roll. And so when that's one decision is made, it's instinctive. When something like that happens, you're like, in your brain, you're like, get me out of here. But your body and your heart went, we got to clean this up, and we got to do this, and we got to do that. And so that's huge. It's just awesome.
It's they say it's how you do anything is how you do everything. And it's, and how we react, sometimes you just need to pause for a minute and you need to create some space before you react. And
That's right.
I didn't have the time then. I had to think real quickly and like, no, that's not a good idea, and I mean, instantaneously I'm on the floor picking up glass. That was the reaction.
Yes.
You got, and whether that was a combination of, at least I don't have to look anybody in the eye while I'm picking up glass, because
Well,
there's a part of that.
sure.
And hey, I got to clean up the mess, and hey, my job is to protect. So I got to protect all these little kids,
Yeah.
Whatever it is, but it was my truly only option
Sure.
at that moment,
Yeah.
or at least only respectable option.
Well, and it worked out. I mean,
It-
you've impacted people. You impacted people just by doing that, and even the next day on LinkedIn, it's like you got that comment. So, that's how it works. It's out of nowhere. It feels like it's out of nowhere. It's not, but it feels like it is. So,
Yeah.
but
And she gives
well,
us the opportunity to do this. Like
right.
there's lessons, and she gives us the opportunity to teach them and pass them on.
Exactly. It's awesome. I love it. We have about 2 minutes left. What would you like to leave our audience with in that last 2 minutes to send the show out?
It's funny because I thought about this before we were starting, and I thought about invisible condition.
Yeah.
And everybody's got something.
Yeah.
Whether it's a physical condition, something emotional, something mental, something personal,
Mm-hmm.
something they just don't know how to deal with. Everybody's got something. And we don't know what people are going through. Nobody does. I had to start a sales meeting yesterday, and 2 minutes before that meeting, I got a message that a friend of mine died.
Mm.
And it was a minute or so. I just looked away. I had tears in my eyes, wiped them away, and I went and I did my meeting. And at the end of my meeting, I said to everybody, I just need you to know that this happened. And I'm sharing this now because we need to know people are going through stuff and you don't know it.
Yeah.
Give people grace, and my message is always like, if you can do that, if you can just look at people and give them the benefit of the doubt, give them some grace, give them some understanding, the world becomes a better place.
Right. Yeah, it's true. I love it. That is 100% true. I have stories all day long about that kind of stuff. Like even as simple as you see the guy pull up at the grocery store and he jumps out of his car. He pulls in the handicap spot with the handicap plate, jumps out, runs in the store, runs back out, jumps in the car and leaves. And everybody says, he stole somebody's car that has handicap plates, but you don't know what happened as soon as he got home. He might have collapsed on the floor. It's all that stuff that's invisible that people don't see. And so it's stuff like this that brings that to light. And I love that. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
You're doing great work. You're bringing a great message. Thank you.
Hey, Jordan, thank you so much for being here, man. This has been amazing. I always learn something new from everybody I have the privilege of having on the show, and you are no exception. I love it. This is so fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, man. I appreciate it. Stick around. Let's chat afterwards for a minute, but
yes.
But I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. All right, man. Okay, everybody. That was cool. That was just awesome. And I gotta do this one more time because I'm excited. This is, in case you didn't catch the beginning of the show, 2 years today we launched. So for those of you that have been here the whole time and started off with us, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. And if you are brand new, follow us here, follow us on Facebook, leave a comment, Facebook, YouTube, find us on Arion TV channel on E360 TV. Please, invite your friends. We are so thankful that you're here. And just, catch us next time. Our next show is going to be on Tuesday, April 8th. So please join us that day for another amazing story with a guest that's kicking butt and taking names, man. I love this show and I love this audience and I love our guests, and I'm thankful that you're here. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.